and institutional management, social work, ICT, mechanical, civil and electrical engineering, among other courses. Registration for our May and September 2024 intake is ongoing. Taita Taveta National Polytechnic, skills for self-reliance.
Niko, tuchomoke. Niko. Ni nini sura? Stress nia? Ujaona hii public notice? Public notice gani? Bro, hujasoma hii public notice? Unakumbuka ile insurance cover nilichukua? Hiyo kampuni ya bima imefungwa bana. No. Serious. Ona. Na vile niko na cream na wao. Usipanic. Policy Holders Compensation Fund, PCF, ni agency ya gava yenye ilibuniwa ili kucompensate mtu yeyote mwenye ako na insurance claim kwa kampuni ya bima ambayo imefungwa.
For real?
Yes.
And what's the process?
Enda kwa website ya PCF. Fata hiyo procedure ya claim vile iko kwa website yao. Step by step. Step by step. Mpaka mwisho. And you are sorted.
Policyholder Compensation Fund will work with you hadi siku utakuwa compensated. Kumbuka, PCF is the only insurance guarantee scheme in Africa. PCF, thamana ya bima yako.
Did you know you can purchase affordable insurance products which are tailored to meet your needs? Microinsurance offers affordable insurance products in exchange of small regular premium payments. It covers low-value assets against various perils dependent on the scope of the cover. In the event of a loss, the claim is settled within 10 days. Insure all things that matter to you through microinsurance today. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. Thank you for joining us tonight. President William Ruto is calling on the Kenya Defence Forces to boost government efforts in greening Kenya as per the target of 15 billion trees by the end of the year 2032. We have details lined up for you and of course what has been happening across the Republic and beyond. Welcome. Here are tonight's highlights. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's push for one man, one vote, one shilling agenda criticized as selfish. "56 cases of cholera confirmed across the country, mostly in Tana River County. And schools in flood-affected areas record poor learners turnout 3 days after reopening. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Anne Wangeshi. To begin with, President William Ruto has called on the Kenya Defence Forces to work closely with the Ministry of Environment in realising the 15 billion tree plantation exercise in the next 10 years. Speaking during the Kenya Defence Forces Recruits Pass Out Parade in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, the head of state said the exercise is paramount in curbing the adverse effects of climate change currently witnessed in the country, as Abdiaziz Hashim begins our coverage of that story.
The Defence Forces Recruits Training School, located 22 kilometers from Eldoret town, Uasin Gishu County, saw thousands of family, friends and members of the community congregate to witness the Kenya Defence Forces Recruits Pass Out Parade on the newly renovated Parade Square. The first parade President William Ruto presided over since taking charge as the country's fifth head of state. The pass-out parade marked the culmination of 6 months of intense training, during which the recruits underwent a rigorous evaluation, test and assessment in various military disciplines, both individually and in groups. The 5,472 new soldiers took the oath of allegiance, swearing to dutifully and unwaveringly defend the sovereignty and the Constitution of Kenya.
His legacy will continue to inspire many. Please, let us stand for a moment of silence to honor his memory and the lives of those lost alongside him.
President Ruto led the KDF fraternity and the country at large once again in remembering the late General Francis Ogola's immense contribution to the military. While urging the new soldiers to serve their country with courage, the president urged the military to work closely with the Ministry of Environment in realizing the 15 billion tree plantation target by 2032.
I take this opportunity to commend the KDF for your exemplary contribution to national afforestation efforts. As you know, this campaign is a cornerstone of our national strategy to combat climate change and enhance our environmental resilience, thereby promoting overall security for our people, their properties, and livelihoods.
Ruto stating that the initiative aims at combating the effects of climate change that is now a reality in Kenya based on the recent happenings.
I commend the KDF for their tireless efforts and effective disaster response in the midst of the devastating floods which have affected many parts of our country. The government is committed to relocating and resettling affected families and to significantly enhance national disaster response capabilities to be even better prepared for future emergencies.
Section Commander all round.
Recruits who performed exemplary in the different fields during their training were also awarded. Abdiaziz Hashim from Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County.
Thank you very much, Abdiaziz. Let's focus now on health matters and the health CS. Susan Nakumicha says the country has confirmed 56 cases of cholera. Nakumicha says most cases have been reported in Tana River County. The situation is being monitored to prevent further outbreak. Nakumicha made the remarks during the launch of the Health Emergency Preparedness Response and Resilience Program for East and Southern Africa, calling for concerted efforts to enhance resilience on climate-related diseases outbreaks.
It has confirmed 56 cases of cholera in the country.
Even as a country now, this morning I had a brief. We have about 56 cases of cholera.
We've also been notified this morning that there's an outbreak of diarrhea in one of our prisons within Nyeri. So samples have been collected and the tests will be done to ascertain.
In a move to ensure the situation is contained, the Ministry of Health says it's monitoring the situation, given most cases have been found in Tana River County.
Our response teams, the public health team, and other emergency multi-agency teams that are camping in Tana River to ensure that all those who have been affected get access to medication.
The situation which is emerging after a period of long rains that resulted to floods, the CS Health Susan Nahumiche says there's need for all Kenyans to be vigilant.
And we know that this may not be the last pandemic. Actually, experts say that it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when.
The Cabinet Secretary made the remarks during the launch of a $1 billion USD Health Emergency Preparedness Response and Resilience Program for East and Southern Africa by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, and the East Central and Southern Africa Health Community that is funded by the World Bank Group.
We need to redouble our efforts to be prepared. Many plans and strategies at country level are outdated or unfunded.
Is a testament to our collective determination to build on our experiences and lessons from the COVID.
The first phase of the program, which will run for 7 years, is targeting Kenya, Ethiopia, DRC Congo, Sao Tome and Principe, and Burundi.
The major goal of the program is to strengthen our systems, the better to manage any shocks that affect the health systems.
We have 14 million IDPs in our region, but also 4.5 million refugees. And all these are related, of course, to the climate change.
The second phase will encompass Malawi, Rwanda, and Zambia, with plans to expand the program to 14 countries. Serafina Nairobi for Prime Edition.
Still on health matters, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers is now blaming the Salary and Remuneration Commission, SRC, for delaying in approving their collective bargaining agreement. The clinical officers have, however, threatened to withdraw all critical services offered by the clinicians by Thursday if no meaningful solution is arrived at. And we'll be bringing you that story in a bit. But let's just move this forward. And Kenya joined the world in marking the International Day for Families Wednesday, with stakeholders raising concerns on the increased cases of separation and divorce in marriages in the country. Speaking during the celebration in Nairobi, First Lady Rachel Ruto said the moral fabric of the Kenyan society is under threat. She, however, called on parents not to abdicate their parental role, saying their guidance is critical in ensuring children are molded into responsible citizens in the society.
Calls for parents to be active role models for their children reverberated as Kenya joined the world in marking International Day for Families in Nairobi.
Before we get to the remarks, Your Excellency,
it is here that the First Lady Rachel Ruto regretted what she termed as the spiraling cases of divorce and separation in marriages, calling for reconciliation and soberness in dealing with grievances that emerge among partners in marriage.
This annual observance of the Day of Families underscores the importance of family. Family is the bedrock of any society and the compass for human life. Families nurture, protect, and teach us all.
Ms. Ruto also used the occasion to launch the National Policy on Family Promotion and Protection, called on parents to take their parenting role seriously, so as to decisively deal with the erosion of values in the society.
Despite the importance of family in our society, it has come under serious attacks and threats in the recent past. This is due to socio-economic factors, media and technology, climate change, and alternative cultures that undermine the value of family.
Her sentiments were echoed by Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore, who said that the National Positive Parental Program will continue so as to strengthen the capacity of families in the country.
This National Positive Parenting Program is aimed at enhancing parents and caregivers' skills, behaviors, beliefs, practices, and attitudes on parenting, and strengthening the capacity of families to be able to have healthy family relationships and promote healthy child development, and minimize separation of families.
I wish I was a phone. I wish I was a TV. My parents could have embraced me first.
The celebration was marked under the theme Climate Change and Impact on Families' Well-Being. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
On that family note, we're taking our first breather on Prime Edition, but don't go too far. We're coming back with more, including business and sports.
Are you looking for competent college training founded on Christian background? Sensei Institute of Technology is the right place. Welcome to the home of great practical skills, well, the CBC way, and everyone has potential.
I'm Silvano Magez Mugisha from Uganda. I'm a student in Sensei Institute of Technology. I've taken several courses in Sensei, which is plant operator, plant mechanics, automotive electronics, and solar installation and CCTV. The reason why I've done all those courses with Sensei, practical skills in all fields, and these skills always help us to provide our best to the society. I've had a very good experience with Sensei because the teaching staff of Sensei do not only act like teachers, but they even act like parents. So they have given me a good experience in school and outside school.
All you need is your ID card to be admitted to either of our two campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru. Call us on 0717 951 055 or 0729 891 301. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Multi-bonus. Zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000,000 na multi-bonus 1,000%. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Third-party insurance is mandatory under the law. It covers death or bodily injury to passengers, death or bodily injury to pedestrians, and damage to third-party property. Third-party policy does not cover the loss or damage by fire, theft, and accident to the vehicle. It also does not cover the owner of the vehicle and the driver. Consider taking a personal accident to cover driver and owner of the vehicle. Motor vehicle insurance cover is not transferable. When you sell your vehicle, remember to cancel your policy. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Taita Taveta National Polytechnic invites all graduates, students, parents, and the general public to our first graduation ceremony to be held at our main campus on 16th May 2024 from 8 a.m. We offer certificates, diploma and higher diploma courses in business studies, hospitality and institutional management, social work, ICT, mechanical, civil and electrical engineering, among other courses. Registration for our May and September 2024 intake is ongoing. Taita Taveta National Polytechnic, skills for self-reliance.
Welcome back, and let's refocus our attention on the Family Day. And the 15th day of May every year is dedicated to those celebrations, and the family unit as being the cornerstone of the society. Weekly Focus now brings us the story of some residents of Ndugunya village in Bondo, Siaya County. International Day of Families 2024 in style.
It is the International Day of Families, the day that appreciates the bonds and values that hold the family together as a unit. And these residents of Ndugunya village in Bondo sub-county, Siaya County, are here to recognize the essence of this special day. They have been joined by government officials at the grassroots level, officials from ICS, a social organization that champions the welfare of children in a modern society, and all together they deliberate on modern parenting techniques, the vitality of open communication within the family unit.
So basically today it was a moment of reflection with the community to basically understand what are some of the challenges they face as parents in raising their children. We have different generations. We have the youthful generation, we have the elderly. So it was a moment of discussion on what are some of the challenges that us face.
The participants are buoyed and tickled by the discussion that also includes climate change mitigation measures in line with this year's theme, which is family and climate change.
Many of our communities are even doing their farming up to the riparian lands. And what happens after this is that there's a lot of seepage, a lot of siltation in our rivers. And that's why you find that many rivers right now cannot be able to sustain rainwater as it used to happen there before. That means that there are a lot of sedimentary matters in the rivers. And that is also something that we need to teach our communities.
Si vizuri kujenga kando ya mto, ujenge tu mahali hata kama mvua itakuja nyingi sana, haitakudhuru.
We get a brief opportunity to speak with this couple that has weathered marital storms over time. Peter Juma and his spouse Joanne have been married for 34 years now and raised 8 children. They admit the journey has not been quite a smooth ride, but through dedication, they have overcome the various challenges.
Kazi ngumu na bidii ndio imetufanya tufikie kiwango huu ambaye ya kupeleka watoto wetu shuleni.
Sasa sisi tunatafuta ya nyumba na yeye anatafuta ya shule. Sasa tunasaidiana tu hivyo, hata saa hii tunasaidiana tu hivyo.
They further revealed that a family founded on prayer, belief and trust is destined for greatness. Sentiments supported by Father Godwin Oluoch of Kibuye Catholic Church in Bondo.
Kuishi na Bwana naye huwa ni rahisi, saa ingine ni ngumu. Saa ingine tunasaidiana, saa ingine tuko hapo tu, lakini saa ingine tunasaidiana sana kwa shule. Kwa shule sana, mimi nasema mzee ni mzuri.
Pia hata kifedha. Mama anaweza kuwa nacho na mimi sina. Hiyo yake itasaidia nyumba. Haitakuwa inategemewa ati tu Bwana ndio mpaka lete. Mmoja kati yetu akipata, sisi wote tumefaidika.
And love and obedience are two sides of the same coin. You can't love something that you don't give your mind and heart to, and you can't obey something that you don't love very easily.
The couple also admits that this group deliberation has introduced even more vital aspects that they hope will strengthen their union even further.
Na imetufundisha tusiwe wakali na watoto, sababu tukiwa wakali hatutapata kile wanahitaji.
Siku hizi watoto ukikuwa mkali na watoto, unastukia tu amechukua kamba, unastukia tu ametoa mimba.
For 34 years of marriage, Peter Juma and his spouse Joanne have perfected the art of changing with times, the art of complementary gender roles in a way that defies the cultural dictates and barriers. And as the world commemorates the World Family Day amid apparent and clear devastating effects of climate change, this family equally understands the vitality of environmental conservation.
Hii siku ya Familia Day ni siku nzuri ambaye naye inanifunza pia tuweke mazingira zetu iwe safi.
We are in the line of ensuring that every family participate in that. Then from the family, because family is part of the community. If all the families do it, then now the community will be doing it.
Si vizuri kujenga kando ya mto, ujenge tu mahali hata kama mvua itakuja nyingi sana, haitakudhuru.
The harrowing impact of the torrential rains that pounded the country in recent weeks is still with us. However, there is always something we can do at the family level to avert unfortunate eventualities of climate change. My name is Wycliffe Okech, and as KBC family, we wish you stronger family ties and values.
There's a developing story here, and the county government of Mombasa has agreed to review licensing fees of Miraa and muguka dealers from 80,000 shillings to 60,000 shillings. The levy cap was put in place to regulate distribution and consumption of a stimulant in the coastal town. The agreement was reached upon following intervention by Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, who paid a courtesy call on Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir at his office Wednesday. Nasir gave the dealers a 7-day grace period effective this Thursday to license their businesses.
On Saturday, the county government of Mombasa reviewed upward the licensing fee of Miraa and Muguka business, a move that seemingly irked the business community largely drawn from Meru and Embu counties.
We reconsidered the 80 ambayo wametucharge kwa track to 60, na umesema kwamba wakifungua assembly because they are on recess, they will look into that. I still wish to take this opportunity to kindly urge them to reconsider that decision.
It has been declared by national government as a cash crop, which is in beyond the county government. But for the county government of Mombasa, we will need to license every single person separately.
As Mombasa legislators call for the total ban of the stimulant by the Abdul Swamad Nasir administration, Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, accompanied by a host of MCAs from Embu and Meru counties, called on the county boss to relax the measures.
Any vehicle that wishes to transport Miraa needs to make a decision whether you're transporting passengers or you're transporting Miraa.
Do not resist the movement. Accept that we must protect the children. Sell your product to those that are supposed to buy it, and then you can be here much longer.
This as the county government announced the crackdown on those selling the stimulant near learning institutions.
This process will start from tomorrow. Wapatiwe notice zao, waambiwe wafunge nje ya shule, nje ya makanisa, nje ya misikiti, nje ya madrasa na nje ya Sunday school. Sababu nilisikia mmoja akisema ya kwa hapa ndo nalisha watoto wangu, lakini sasa hata wewe ukifikiria ile chakula ikiingia kwa mtoto wako na umemuumiza mtoto wa mwingine, it is not right.
Baada ya miaka 10 kule kwenu mnapeleka watoto university, sisi wetu tutakuwa tunawapeleka potteries, tunawapeleka kwa taasisi za matatizo ya akili, kwa sababu kwa umri wao hawezi kuhimili uzito wa miadarati hii.
Sisi pia hatungependa watoto wetu, wanafunzi wetu wa shule wakule Miraa, na tunataka kuungana na yeye na kumuunga mkono kabisa, wacha Miraa yuziwe mahali ambayo inafaa.
Meanwhile, Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya and religious leaders from Mombasa County have lauded the county government's stand on regulations of Miraa and Muguka in the region.
Wabunge wa mabunge ya county twawaomba wapitishe katika mabunge yao kwamba hivi ni vitu haramu visiostahiki, vipigwe marufuku kwa manufaa ya wananchi wa Kenya.
Wazazi wa role model ya kwamba strictly watoto wao wasijaribu kutumia hiyo, wakiwaeleza madhara na kuwaonyesha mfano wale wanatumia.
Muguka imeathiri watu, muguka inaumiza watu, na lazima kama nchi tukae pamoja tuhakikishe kwamba jambo hili tunaliangalia with sober minds.
Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
The establishment of a fund to cater for the country's heroes and heroines and proper recognition and identification of a group at grassroots levels are some of the key issues that came out in the just concluded public participation in the criteria for the identification and honoring national heroes. This was revealed during a validation workshop organized by the National Heroes Council, and that also spelled the 2023 to 2027 strategic plan.
KBC. The National Heroes Council conducted a public participation forum from 8 counties. Among the key issues that came up were framework for the establishment of a kitty for the needy, proper recognition and identification of the country heroes and heroines.
That appeal is very key to all other organs, even the leadership, to take interest of where we want to go and achieve the goal of sanitizing the position of heroes in this country, making them dignified and making them appreciate that the government appreciates them.
On Wednesday, the National Heroes Council held a validation workshop on its 2023-2027 strategic plan. The strategic plan seeks to incorporate all the views collected during the public participation forums.
I further wish to urge our stakeholders to work closely together with the Council through collaborations and strategic partnerships, ensuring that our heroes are identified and honored across the country in a deserving, honorable manner.
The Council strategic plan will guide the implementation
of the achievements and the achievements of the mandate.
More so, the council agreed on the need to identify and reward many who have gone unnoticed in different fields at village level.
One of the things, the challenge now we are having is to come up with a database of all heroes in this country, post and pre-independence. And it's a very key thing which we are requesting for a budget so that we can make things in order.
The 2023-2027 strategic plan is expected to be launched in early June this year.
Haya, jinsi ya kungoja kwenye star 570 hash kuna ploti na ni up to 1.1 million Kenyan shillings with a genuine title deed na inakungoja star 570 hash ukana shake.
Stesheni uipendayo ya Nosim FM inakualika kwenye sherehe ya Masai Cultural Night. Njoo tusherekee utamaduni wetu na vipaji vya vijana wetu. Wasanii mashuhuri kutoka jamii ya Wamasai kama vile Nelson Ngotiek, Mosopal, Oinoti Lema na wengine wengi watawatumbuiza, na watangazaji uwapendao wa Nosim FM kama Vivian Teteya, Seno Nkaiwatei, Patrick Kiminta na Shipai Ndilai na wengine wengi watahudhuria. Kutakuwa na vyakula vya kiasili na bidhaa mbalimbali za kitamaduni. Shamra hizi zitafanyika kwenye mkahawa wa Carnival jijini Nairobi tarehe 18 mwezi huu wa Mei kuanzia saa 12 jioni hadi che. Nosim FM Masai Cultural Night. Nyote mwalikwa.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. Now, let's go back to a story I had told you earlier. And the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers is now blaming the Salaries and Remuneration Commission for delaying in approving their collective bargaining agreement. The clinical officers have, however, threatened to withdraw all official services offered by the clinicians by Thursday if no meaningful solution is arrived at.
Speaking after a closed-door meeting with the Ministry of Health officials, Kenya Union of Clinical Officers said the stallment has been prolonged after the Salary and Remuneration Commission failed to approve the collective agreement.
By now, we expected we would have a return-to-work agreement that stipulates beyond, because we had 10 demands. CBA is one, career progression guideline is another, we have promotion redesignation, and many others. But we expected that by the time we are doing day 45, we never expected, especially on the side of the national government, that would still be here and without a return-to-work agreement that then should be registered in court.
The union has now called on the government to intervene as they threatened to withdraw all critical services offered by the clinicians by Thursday.
Because we are having two players who have become very adamant and who are outside the ministry and outside these negotiations, that being the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and also the Treasury, who up to now have not provided the necessary funds so that the SRC can approve and so that we can be able to include in the collective bargaining agreement and sign.
Without the support, without deliberate decision to hasten the process of negotiation and address our grievances, the 10 grievances that we brought forth, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers shall continue being on strike, and that is why we have made a decision to escalate this by calling out our specialized clinical officers who we left to do at least the minimum services. That is the clinical officer anesthetist, the critical care clinical officers, and even the reproductive health clinical officers.
The development comes as the Employment and Labour Relations Court Judge Brian Ongaya ordered county governments not to take any disciplinary actions against the clinical officers pending the negotiations. Separately, Kenya National Union of Medical Laboratory Officers has called on the Ministry of Health and Council of Governors to sign their union recognition agreement, which has triggered the industrial action. Speaking during a peaceful demonstration in Nairobi, the union officials say that they have not been invited for negotiations since they began their strike over a month ago.
Even some issues that does not need any budgetary issues. They doesn't need any budget, like now an issue of recognition agreement, which only 6 counties have signed. The national government, that is the Minister of Health, has not signed the recognition agreement. It's unfortunate that we are in a country where officers who have been given positions to implement decisions are trying to run away from responsibilities.
Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Looks like you have a strike spell. But let's move this forward. And a Milimani Magistrate Court has issued a warrant of arrest against the first accused in the 11 billion shillings Drumville Farmers Cooperative Society members' land fraud for snubbing court sessions. The prosecution informed the court that Jeremiah Motisia Paul had skipped the mention of a case on several occasions. Details of this and more in the Skills of Justice segment.
The 6 suspects in the 452 hectares belonging to Drumville Farmers Cooperative Society members have been charged in a consolidated charge sheet.
The issue of amendment started in the year 2022. In the year 2024 now, when they have new people, new charges, they want to crowd my client with the rest of the people.
The 5 present in court pleaded not guilty to conspiring to defraud the Mavoko land, even as the court issued a warrant of arrest for the first accused.
The prosecution has stated they have the documents that allows for the IE, so what they obtain the same and confirm on 30th of May.
And a family from Mandera has sued the Inspector General of Police Jafeth Koome and DCI Mohamed Amin over the disappearance of their kin who went missing on 2nd May this year.
Serikali tunauliza na watu wa sheria, watu wakishikwa na mtu iletwe mbele ya sheria. Mbele ya sheria iletwe ndio ijulikane ametenda nini.
Let Isaac Ibrahim be produced, whether dead or alive. The Constitution does not envisage extrajudicial killings.
In Kiambu, law court 4 suspects in the case of manufacturing and distributing alleged fake fertilizer from NCPB have pleaded not guilty to the 14 counts placed against them.
The first accused has since been suspended from office without, and he may not be able to post before this honorable court a similar amount, for which we will humbly request that a reasonable amount be considered.
Senior Principal Magistrate Peter Oko ordered them to deposit a 3 million shillings bond, each awaiting pre-trial. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
From the Skills of Justice, let's focus on climate change. And countries in the global south are pushing for international cooperation to address pressing issues, among them climate change, poverty and inequality, and knowledge democratization. The countries under the Organization of the Southern Congress are also seeking to collaborate with associate members to develop a collective plan of action for mutual development, growth and prosperity. Speaking during day 1 of the Congress Regional Consultation in Africa, the organization's Secretary General Sheikh Mansour bin Musaliam said the challenges faced need joint action to realize timely and tangible interventions.
To articulate concrete recommendations which will be presented at the summit of the Greater South, and provide the solid foundation upon which a common definition and plan of action can be adopted for the collective construction of a third way of development from the South, by the South, yet for the entirety of humanity.
We envision policies that promote inclusive economic growth and equitable distribution of resources. It is imperative that we harness our diverse cultural wealth to foster a sense of shared humanity and collective prosperity.
As you know, there's been ongoing debates around the one-man, one-shilling formula advocated for by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and now Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana has stamped the clamour on that formula, of course, as a backward and outdated proposal. Mungatana claims applying such a decision will only lead to marginalization of a section of Kenya, but against the spirit of a constitution guaranteeing equal rights for all.
Tana River County Senator Danson Mungatana is now faulting those advocating for the one-man, one-vote, one-shilling revenue-sharing formula, terming it untenable in the current Kenya.
It is a continuation or an attempt at continuation of economic segregation of areas in this country that are arid and semi-arid. It is economic discrimination of areas in this country that are arid and semi-arid.
The senator alleges if adopted, the move will create marginalization of some parts of Kenya and is not within the spirit of the current government.
We are aggrieved and we feel it is wrong, and Kenyans must accept that we are part and parcel of this country and we are going nowhere. When you use an example and say one constituency has 300,000 people and it's receiving the same as another constituency with 14,000 people, my friend, from 1963, that constituency has had roads, it has had lightning, it has stima wamekuwa nayo, they have had stima, they have had markets, they have had hospitals, they have had everything. This constituency, you are talking about 14,000 people. That constituency was discriminated from independence.
Meanwhile, the county governors have been eyed to be fully accountable on how they spend public resources. John Reson, who aspires to be the UDA Secretary General, says Kenyans should be keen and ready to hold their leaders accountable and have a say on how they want their resources administered.
Mama komiti ya Senate ita wale watu waweze kuuliza maswali kulingana na matumizi ya fedha. Fedha yote ambayo iko katika kaunti ni fedha ya umma. Kwa hivyo ningependa kusema kinachoendelea ni jambo tu la kawaida na ni process kawaida ya serikali kupitia komiti ya bunge na Senate kuuliza maswali.
Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Most schools in flood-affected areas across the country have recorded low turnout on the third day after schools reopened for the second term. The turn of events has been largely attributed to the poor state of schools and the relocation of families from flooded areas.
Even as the long rains subside in the country, the aftermath of the ravaging flood waters has proven challenging to the reopening of schools for second term in flood-affected areas. At Congo Primary School in Kiambu County, learners reported but remained stuck outside the compound as the section of the school, including the main entrance, was still under flood waters.
The children are not safe to go there because there can be hippopotamus in those dams. So I ask anyone who is responsible, who is able to come and maybe assist us and put away that water so that our school can be, the children can be able to access the school. The pupils now cannot go there.
I sat down with my committee and also the National CDF committee, whereby we shall be looking to the issue of the toilets that have sunk so that we can undertake repairs. And that is under the emergency fund that we have at CDF.
In Kisii County, most students at St. Vincent Omwari Mixed Secondary School failed to report due to flooding in the area.
Students have arrived, though not all of them, but others are still coming, and we expect that before the week ends, all the students will be in school.
The situation was not different in Nyora, Kabuto and Angogo areas of Migori County, as floodwaters kept the learners away from their schools.
Most of the homes are kind of submerged
only a few who come from around and just around the compound can come or walking on foot. But quite a better percentage are being sailed back in boat.
In another development, such mission to locate bodies of 3 people who were buried alive by a landslide last evening in Matavia area of Kiambu County are underway.
Pande hiyo ya chini kutoka siku ile watu wameambiwa wahame. Hata sasa tunasema watu wakae wakiwa macho sana. Huku ile kitu ya muhimu mpaka hii mvua ikwishe, wacha watu wakae upande huu wa juu.
Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi, who visited the scene, ordered the residents living on landslide risk area to be relocated. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
You see these guys you find at Jivanji and Jacaranda grounds milling around and discussing politics. They're called Bunge la Mwananchi, and they've been named as the best vocal and active human rights group in the latest survey by Precision Analytics Africa. Elsewhere, junior secondary school teachers in Baringo County took to the streets to protest alleged threats by the Teachers Service Commission. The JSS teachers say they will not be cowed, maintaining they will down their tools if their demands are not met. This and more stories in our county news roundup.
The human rights group Bunge la Mwananchi, according to the Precision Analytics, beat others on issues relating to human rights, governance, social justice and community empowerment.
Bunge la Mwananchi, translated as People's Parliament, is a grassroots social movement and civil society organization dedicated to promoting social justice, democracy and human rights in Kenya.
Meanwhile, junior secondary school teachers in Baringo County took to the streets demanding they be given new terms of employment as directed by the court. The junior secondary school teachers have vowed to down their tools if their demands are not met.
It is very unfortunate, and I want to tell the Teachers Service Commission, you should not threaten the JSS teachers. Because the statement that I saw yesterday from the Teachers Service Commission is a big joke. We cannot allow our JSS teachers to go to school when they are earning 17,000 shillings. 17,000 shillings in Lokumkum Primary School in Baringo cannot even make to be enough for transport alone.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Forest Service has signed an agreement with 3 Meru-based community forest associations aimed at forest conservation while encouraging economic activities like farming, beekeeping, fish farming, among others.
Mambo ya upanzi wa miti, hakuna chochote tumeweza kufanya bila community. Kwa hivyo hiyo serikali ina appreciate na ina acknowledge kwamba community participation ni kitu ya maana sana na itaendelea.
Finally, residents of Nanyuki, Laikipia County, are said to benefit from the launch of a 360 million shillings ultra-modern market that is expected to be constructed within a year. The project is also expected to serve over 1,000 traders in the county.
Even kwa sababu iko na all the facilities, tafadhali tuungane pamoja, to support contractors wetu, na tumekubaliana siku ya leo wafanyikazi wa hii soko wale watakuwa wanachimba, wanasaidia kwa mjengo, watatoka katika Laikipia County.
Tukusema ni kazi gani, ndio tukasema kazi ni kazi. Uwe wewe uko kwa soko, lazima upate mahali safi, mahali pazuri pa kufanyia biashara yako, ili tuheshimu hiyo kazi yako.
For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Counder.
Now, being that boat racing in the Luo land was in the 1980s perceived a predominantly male sport, the film Otis Janam seeks to break that myth. The film by Dr. Zipi Okoth is about the socio-economic empowerment of women and their strive to go beyond perceived cultural limitations. Jacqueline Masheria reviews this film for a weekly segment, Cinemas and Theatre. Take a look.
Set against the picturesque backdrop of Homa Bay County 3 decades ago, Otis Janam is a captivating tale that transcends cultural boundaries and delves deep into the complexities of love, ambition, and societal expectations and limitations. The film revolves around the transformative journey of Otis Janam, a once aimless village drunk who finds redemption and purpose through boat racing.
The best boat racer.
The narrative unfolds with the audacious decision of Jatelo Koth to offer his daughter Api as the prize for a boat racing competition, a move that sets the stage for a series of events that will challenge the status quo. As Otis Janam rises to the challenge and defeats the formidable Ojwang, the stage is set for a life-altering romance between him and Api.
The script Otis Janam was written 20 years ago by Dr. Zippy, and it's something that she'd kept in her archives for the longest time. So when KFC made a call for the Empowerment Fund application, and there was a specification in terms of it has to be a sports film, she had to do a few adjustments here and there, and also just to update the film in regards to current timings. And so we incorporated into the element of boat racing among the Luo community.
Members of the cast include Nick Kwach, who plays the character Otis Janam, Sarah Masese, who plays the character Api, or Carl Michael, who plays the character Jericho, among others.
In regards to casting, it was purely through the auditions. We hired Lorella Joey, who is one of the biggest casting directors in Kenya. We had our auditions at Kenti. So we did conduct 2 auditions. One was in Nairobi and another one in Rusinga. But of course, there are those big roles that wants people with experienced actors. So most of our experienced actors came from Nairobi.
Vigilance Atieno, the film producer, notes that the film's stunning cinematography, set against the backdrop of Rusinga Island, captures the beauty and vibrancy of rural African life, transporting viewers into a world where tradition and modernity coexist in harmony.
In terms of the acting and the filming of the film itself, we did it in Rusinga for 14 days. We had a team and we had an integral part of boat racing, which entailed people getting into the lake. Through the beach management, we were able to mark the territories within the waters so that the extreme a boat can go is this side. We had a boating patrol that was just purely there for safety in case anything happened. We had the crew patrol boat as well. That days we had long shoots, but the team was very comfortable enough to adjust accordingly. Doing a film in a vernacular language presents the beautiful opportunity for cultural heritage and preservation. And looking at our history as a people, there are some stories when you just tell them in the foreign languages, they are not as captivating. Why is it that Nigeria, they do their pidgin language and they still sell even across the borders? I think it all comes back to we have to decolonize our minds and realize that you don't have to do your film in English for you to get an audience.
As the years pass and the patriarchal grip of tradition loosens its hold, Otis Janam's journey takes a darker turn. The death of Api's father serves as a catalyst for Janam's descent into old habits, leading to a heartbreaking cycle of abuse and betrayal. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a glimmer of hope emerged with the arrival of Sponsor, a catalyst for change whose sponsorship of a new boat racing competition breathes new life into the village. With a prize of 100,000 shillings and inclusive rules allowing women to compete, the stage is set for a showdown that will redefine gender roles and empower women like never before.
There are 2 ways at the moment. You can watch it on My Movies Africa. You can watch it there. Or if you are a group of 15 or more, you can reach out to us through our social media platforms. That is Legacy Arts and Film Lab or Otis Janam Film. And we'll be able to organize for you a private screening.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Coming up, Communication Authority to construct a state-of-the-art data center as part of its strategic plan unveiled today. AFC Leopards and police beat and run.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. More at Bet.
Stesheni uipendayo ya Nosim FM inakualika kwenye sherehe ya Masai Cultural Night. Njoo tusherekee utamaduni wetu na vipaji vya vijana wetu. Wasanii mashuhuri kutoka jamii ya Wamasai kama vile Nelson Ngotiek, Mosopal, Oinoti Lema na wengine wengi watawatumbuiza, na watangazaji uwapendao wa Nosim FM kama Vivian Teteya, Seno Nkaiwatei, Patrick Kiminta na Shipai Ndilai na wengine wengi watahudhuria. Kutakuwa na vyakula vya kiasili na bidhaa mbalimbali za kitamaduni. Shamra hizi zitafanyika kwenye mkahawa wa Carnival jijini Nairobi tarehe 18 mwezi huu wa Mei kuanzia saa 12 jioni hadi che. Nosim FM Masai Cultural Night. Nyote mwalikwa.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. Time for the latest in the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Communication Authority of Kenya plans to construct a data center and an ICT hub entrepreneurship center within the next 4 years. This is part of the Communication Authority of Kenya's 89 billion shillings 2023-2027 strategic plan that advocates for promotion of meaningful connectivity to ICT services and increasing broadband penetration.
The 4-year strategic plan is projected to be implemented at a cost of 88.6 billion shillings. This strategic plan is expected to, among others, increase broadband penetration, foster a competitive ICT market, and bridge the digital divide.
Effective alignment of this strategic plan. From a policy perspective, you have realized that the strategic plan is aligned to that of the parent ministry. It is aligned to the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, to the EAC Vision 2050, to the AU's Agenda 2063.
The authority plans to establish an ICT Institute of Excellence to nurture ICT skills and foster innovation, as well as an international convention hub for entrepreneurs. He says a flexible regulatory environment that encourages innovation and competition is critical if Kenya is to navigate technological advancement and evolving consumer needs.
It is the responsibility of the authority to ensure that Kenyans benefit from the new technologies that our regulatory framework supports innovation, not hinders it. To achieve this, the most comprehensive review of the legal framework on ICT is currently underway.
How do we regulate who should access this technology and what time? And within which regime can you use the technologies?
Professor Kisiangani called for responsible use of artificial intelligence and technology to tell African stories.
Emerging technologies are both positive and negative. If you don't utilize them responsibly under particular regulations, it can be misused to cause war.
Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Now, the government has started the process of overhauling Kenya's building regulations to deepen green building practices in the construction industry. The country is planning to cut greenhouse gas emissions from the construction industry by 50% in the next 6 years. Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says in light of recent climate-induced flooding, the government will expedite the National Building Standards and Control Bill 2024 and new building codes as part of climate mitigation efforts in the construction industry.
Green building practices have seen over 100 buildings now certified or registered by 2022, according to the Kenya Building Society. This has placed Kenya at the forefront of green building practices in Africa. The ongoing discourse on climate change is helping accelerate the adoption of green building technologies.
Because of the various aspects and factors that are being experienced every day, every place, and different countries globally, I think the conversation is how we can now quickly mitigate.
Stakeholders say apart from a lack of knowledge on the importance of green buildings, there's a shortage of professionals to drive green building techniques.
Even as we come up with a research and training institute par excellence, that's what we're looking at building in this particular sector.
Housing Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome called for collaborative steps to help the country's efforts of cutting green gas emission from the construction industry.
Some of the partners here with me today have contributed a lot in terms of their time, ideas, and financing some of our programs, workshops, training.
We are collaborating at the international level with UNEP, the United Nations Environmental Programme, to help other countries to come in this conversation.
We start to think about anywhere between 31 to 37% of greenhouse gas emissions come from this sector.
Some of the legislation expected to help in the adoption of green building practices are the National Land Policy, National Housing Policy, and the National Building Standards and Control Bill 2024. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
And the government will push for a review of existing policies in the energy sector to reduce the cost of gas cylinder and help combat clean cooking crisis. Speaking during the International Energy Agency Clean Cooking Africa Summit in Paris, Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir says the government will address the cost of LPG gas cylinders to ensure fair competition.
In the last 10 years, Kenya has made major strides in transitioning from dirty fuels to clean fuels, with 53% of urban homes and 5.6% of rural households using liquefied petroleum gas, according to the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Overall, 24% of Kenyans use clean fuel and technology for cooking, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Medical experts argue that the inhalation of hazardous smoke from cooking is the second leading cause of premature death among women and children in Africa. To address this, a government is seeking to develop policy and structure for clean and sustainable cooking solutions to eliminate the dependence on biomass as primary fuel sources.
The initial cost of entry is a big challenge, and what we're trying to do is to grow that space, and as government have policies which address how do we get those living below the poverty line to access and overcome this cost of entry, bring in enough competition.
Further, a bigger vessel will be brought in Mombasa, linking Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda.
We have a program today where we are trying to bring down the cost of clean cooking, particularly gas, bringing in big ship. We want to leverage on our geopositioning of Mombasa to bring in big vessels for Kenya, for Uganda, for Rwanda, and enjoy the volume of the scale of investment in bringing in a bigger ship.
Chirchir spoke during the International Energy Agency Clean Cooking Africa Summit, where Africa secured $2.2 billion to expand clean energy initiatives. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
The Kenya National Library Services has rolled out a digital skills training for the visually impaired in Embu County. Kenya National Library Services Embu Branch Principal Librarian, that is Jane Rose Mukami, said the training targets to empower them to tap online jobs.
Kenya National Library Services is offering free basic computer and smart gadget skills to the visually impaired to enable them easily access government services.
Nimekuja hapa kusaidia watu wa Embu wale wamejiunga kwa kikundi inaitwa Embu Library Disabled Group na disability devices to assist them navigate around and also be compliant to the current life of digital.
The library has also been doing the Agile training, where we are saying the Ministry of ICT has been fast-tracking this, where we say through online you can be able to earn some dollars through the online jobs.
The computers are installed with user-friendly softwares to assist them acquire digital skills and that they can use to tap online work opportunities.
Ni normal computer ila tu inakuwa na special applications. Moja ni kama JAWS na ambayo huwa inasaidia mwenye aoni aweze kusikia. Akisikiza venye iko kwa computer atakuwa anajua venye ataweza ku-operate those computers.
The library's computers, they are installed with the JAWS. Those are like the token computers, and also the supernovas. These are softwares that help the visually impaired person interact with the computer.
She says the group has been able to register self-help with the Department of Social Services that will go a long way in promoting inclusive development and champion for their rights. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find out what Kaikara is up to.
Just be careful how you deal with that man.
The fact that I read the Bible does not make me stupid.
By now you should know that Ronald double-crossed us.
How? Ruth! What's up with you and Nick? Come on, Alice. We've always been close.
We need to find Donald, and fast. Find out about Ruth.
My instincts tell me he's not straightforward.
Nini uniambi?
Yeah, she knows too much.
Dad and I were not in good terms before he passed on. It hurts like hell.
Sorry, Alice, I didn't return your call. I was held up.
I know you're a busy man. I understand.
Was just passing by. I wanted to talk to your boss.
My boss?
You have way too many bosses.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Glad that you're still watching Prime Edition. It is time for sports with me, Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with the football, where FC Leopards ended Police FC's 20-match unbeaten run when they beat them by a solitary goal in one of the FKF Premier League midweek matches played today. Ulinzi Stars also beat Bidco United by the same margin. So did Kakamega Homeboys against Nzoia Sugar, as Tusk FC were held to a 2-2 draw by Nairobi City Stars.
AFC Leopards' Victor Omune's 74th minute lone goal was enough to end Police FC winning streak since Salim Babu took over from Zako Logarusic. The Low Enforcers still lie second on the log with 54 points, having won 15 and drawn 9 FKF Premier League matches. Fourth placed AFC Leopards are 7 points behind Police FC, having won 12 and drawn 11 matches. Meanwhile, Yake Mudeli 91st minute goal assured Ulinzi Stars 1-0 victory over Bidco United in a match played at Dandora Stadium. In other matches, Kakamega Homeboys defeated Nzoia Sugar 1-0 as former FKF Premier League champions Tusker FC were held to a 2-2 draw by Nairobi City Stars. Sofapaka beat Posta Rangers 2-1 in a match played at Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos.
And that particular win, of course, moved FC Leopards to their highest point ever on the league this season to 4th place, but 16 points off leaders Gor Mahia. To tennis now, where Kenya's Zayan Virani stand Kieran Lin of USA, who is seeded 8th in the round of 16 during the Extreme Junior Circuit singles matches played today at Parklands Sports Club to advance to the quarterfinals. The tournament, which is part of the ITF World Tennis Tour, has attracted 73 players from 30 different countries, among them Italy, Spain, Ghana, Finland, Germany, China, and India.
Kenya's Zion Virani beat USA's Kieran Lin by 2-1 of 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 to emerge victorious in the boys' single round of 16. In the boys' double, Kenya's duo of Jeff Okuku and Gilbert Omwisa failed to advance to the quarterfinals after they were beaten by Indian pair of Saurish Modi and Tani Mukesh by 2 straight sets of 6-2, 6-1. Kenya's Liberty Kibui and Alvin Mwenda only managed to win the set against the team of Tan Clark of South Africa and Clement Walter of Belgium, who beat them for 6, 6-1, 6-2 in the round of 16 boys double.
I feel confident, and in doubles, I'm playing today at 4. I'm going to play good, I'm going to try my best, and let's see what I can do.
In the girls' quarter-final matches, Kenya's Nancy Kawira and Marceline Oresha defeated Avisha Rathod of India and Faith Urusa of Kenya 7-6, 6-4 to proceed to the girls' double semi-finals.
We had high expectation because we were seed number 3, and one of the players was a Kenyan, and we know her weakness, so we were ready for the game.
It was a good day for the Kenyan girls as Celine Ohoya and Hadassah Grace overcame Anisha Homud of Finland and Jolie Marie of Germany in the other quarterfinal by 2 sets of 6-2, 6-1 to book their semi-final place.
Winners get points, very good points to, like I say, to take them to the next level, because this is the first entry level of, I'd say, for the juniors participating in these international events. So, and they also get something small from the tournament, like maybe a trophy.
The Extreme Junior Circuit continues tomorrow with more matches on card.
As the second edition of Kenya Football Federation Women Physiotherapist Workshop entered day 2 Wednesday at Mathare Youth Sports Association offices in Komarok, Nairobi. Now the 4-day workshop has brought together FKF Women's Premier League and National Super League participants and is part of a program led by FIFA to enhance the welfare and performance of female footballers in the country.
The Kenya Football Federation, also known as the FKF, has partnered with FIFA again to advance sports medicine initiatives. The second edition of the Physiotherapist Workshop signifies a concerted effort to deepen skills and knowledge in sports medicine among participants from both the FKF Women's Premier League and National Super League.
More attention has been on the men, but now we are happy the focus is shifting to women also trying to bring us up on board.
The workshop intends to build on the knowledge gained in the previous program, where participants familiarize themselves with common sports injuries and interventions, as well as nutritional and psychological training for athletes. The 4-day workshop will end on Friday this week. For Prime Edition, I'm Emmanuel Ndungu.
And with that story from Emmanuel Ndungu on physiotherapist training in the country is how we end it tonight. Thank you so much for watching Sports Prime Edition today. I'm Bernardo Kumu.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet. You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Well, it's time for us to put a cap on Prime Edition. There are 2 quite interesting matches ongoing. Brighton and Chelsea, Manchester United and Newcastle. All the games that are a barren draw at this point. That is 0-0. And we'll see how this goes. The Premier League appears to be decided. Am I speaking Greek?
Well. I am a passive Manchester United fan.
Passive?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Remember, tomorrow we shall be talking about the Finance Bill 2024, breaking down the taxes. That is on BizCheck at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So yeah, be sure to check that out.
Absolutely. This is where we put a cap on Prime Edition. Have yourself a fantastic night. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
Mpenzi mtazamaji wa runinga unayoipenda ya KBC Channel 1.
Over the years, we have been at the forefront of broadcast trends to bring you the best of news, entertainment, and sports. You have the power to take your favorite broadcaster to the top. KBC Channel 1 has been nominated in the TV Station of the Year category in the 7th edition of the Kuza ICT Awards.
Favorite TV station.
To vote for KBC via SMS, simply use the short code 15601 and follow the prompts at no cost. Or visit www.kuzaawards.co.ke and follow the registration instructions to vote. KBC Channel 1. Kenya's watching.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
This week on What's in Your Kitchen, we have Chef Hilary who will be making for us potato wedges, stir-fried chicken, and a garden salad. That's optional. Let's say if someone doesn't have carrots.
Yeah, you can just do it as I've done.
So for our potatoes, tunazi shallow fry until crispy, ama what are we looking for?
Until crispy, yeah.
Okay. Because naona hiyo ni kama inataka kukataa kazi.
And this actually does it best.
Yeah. Chef Hilary, thank you so much for coming to the show. I hope you had fun.
Very much fun.
Cheza loto, shinda pesa moto.
Back on top, ikiwa ni another edition yako kwenye show yako ya kipekee ambayo inakupatia fursa ya kujishindia zaidi na zaidi, ikiwa leo ni special edition ya Mother's Day, na tuko na watatu ambao wanakuja kupigana na sanduku zetu za kawaida, ikiwa leo tena tunakupatia sanduku 7, na pia niko na a super co-host. Stay tuned, ikiwa only yako ya kipekee ya Loto Moto.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Unangoja nini? *570#.
Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto.
Nice, niliwaahidi ni sanduku 7 na ndizo hizi hapa. Ikiwa tikiti yako ya kufika mahali hapa ni *570#. Niko na watatu hapa ambao wameshafika, na pia niko na a super co-host wangu. Usongea karibu hapa. Dadangu, niambie.
Nzuri.
Majina nani?
Naitwa Pauline Maina.
Pauline Maina kutoka maeneo gani?
Kirinyaga County.
Kirinyaga County.
Yeah.
Pauline, wewe ndio beneficiary wetu wa leo. Sawa sawa?
Asante.
On this other side. Majina nani madam?
Margaret Wambui kutoka Dakaine.
Margaret ni mchezaji wetu na amefika hapa kupitia *570#. Dadangu, majina nani?
Jane Kapuru.
Jane kutoka maeneo gani?
Kutoka Malare.
My sister, jina nani?
Jina ni Ruth Wanza.
Ruth Wanza kutoka maeneo gani?
Natoka Njoska, Machakos County.
Ruth?
Yes.
Margaret na Jane, hapa ndani nimeweka sanduku 4 na pesa. Nimeweka 100,000 Kenyan shillings kwa sanduku 2. Nimeweka 50,000 Kenyan shillings na pia nimewekea 200,000 Kenyan shillings. Sijui mnataka nini? Sitaki kuongea zaidi. Msema kweli? Kuja wafungulie warembo hawa. Pauline.
Yes.
Nataka unisaidie. Nani unatamani akuwe wa kwanza kufika hapa, tumpatie fursa ya kujichagulia sanduku wa kwanza?
Ruth.
Ruth?
Yeah.
Imekukujia? Fika hapa. Fika hapa. Fika. Simama hapa.